Is there more than now? Can we leaf through, reading between the lines, find pages foxed, one with another, the run of the words, a simple touching of days, the wefting of anecdotes, hands splayed and interlocked, the present drawn into perspective, the exchanges, the rendezvous, diaries kept in a bag in case an entry sheds light on who we are or what we might become in an unpredictable future.
It was in the 1930s that the family came along, and that stopped Mum working. I was the first of three. It's difficult to remember your first memory, I suppose, but I remember my first early sounds of the railway. Living in Watledge, above the railway at the bottom, all the sounds came up from the valley. I can still, if I shut my eyes and think about it, hear those sounds of childhood. And of course, there's a wonderful romance about childhood, isn't there? Everything is so much larger than life. From up on the bank, you could hear the wonderful sounds of puffing, whistling, and tremendous shunting going on as the goods wagons were shunted and delivered goods.
The town, no more than where you might live, with its own favourites and foibles, the limbs of its streets, the sinews of all its associations, the recollection of its histories. A way in, not along its main approaches, but as a falcon might wing its air, the angles of tile lines glimpsed between its primaries, its complexities, its curios.
Frustration House was ladies' wear, with men's hairdressing in the corner. I'm a bit hazy now, but I seem to remember a cafe. Bicycle repair shop, tailors, I believe. Mrs. King had sweets and tobacco. Wayne's ironmonger, W.E. Smith, and of course, Innes for our sweets and friendly smiles.
And here, first hand, seen as I stood outside the bakery, the shiver of an eel, long and snaking, secretes itself in the shadow of the culvert, and at the same time a proud mother duck leaps to the pavement with 4 tiny ducklings and heads off, all 4 snaking in her footsteps, crossing to the island, crossing to the far side, striding past the health shop, and there, without a by your leave, goes out across the roundabout, all human hands in the air as the family bustle across and hop and drop from view into the river outside William. All the while, pantechnicons, pickups and push bikes braked and stopped, wide-eyed and still. Like the silence before applause, there is a depth of time in homage to the pluck of this family, so strong and vulnerable, an unworded page, a glimpse into another set of parameters until the first palms touch the steering wheels and each car and van and lorry inches into the continuing human day. We are on such varied errands. You click your motorbike stand by the fire exit, heading in for your shift. Orange lights on shiny black wink to your remote, and you arrive with an abundance of tulips. It's not Mrs. D's 90th every day. You stand on the corner outside the butcher's, staring at the tarmac. Will you have gleaned some goodness from this morning? Or is that question too far away? We just need a home. We go inside and take a step that will change our lives. Ah, quick, a jigsaw for John. No matter what the picture is, he won't mind. Hold the string tight or it'll float away. You gaze up at your Severn. We found her right along past the pet shop. A kind man had understood your vacant eyes and held you in conversation. You hunch below the cash machine. A plate by your feet has a couple of pence. A shroud of night and weariness across your head and shoulders. We are on such varied errands as you choose your cheese, or make it slowly to a quiet bench, hoping it won't rain. Put down your heavy bags and ease yourself into comfort. Take the weight off your feet. Feel the release and relax, with your gaze attentive to all you find around you. Let the street run its errands, while you open a little envelope of time. You can see the incidental things, the strings of felted daisies in the tree, the fort-like balustrades high on the old bank building, the flower baskets gently swinging. This is no waste of the morning, detached from the palaver of the day. More a space to reconnect, without trying, but simply by being still. The clock chimes high above you, patiently ticking, and there's a robin on the wall, as still as you are. Seats in a town are silent pauses between acts, places to clear your throat and readjust, a place to imagine the moonlight stealing slat by slat across this seat in the small chiming.
How did we communicate? Well, we would just talk to one another, and everybody knew everybody. You had to be really posh to have a phone in those days.
No phones then. That's where the bike came in handy. If you had a message to take to somebody, well, you'd take it, jump on the bike and run along to their homes. That's it. That's all there was, yeah?
The cinema was brilliant. That was the highlight of our life. Used to go, cost you next to nothing to go to the cinema, and Winnie Davies used to play this piano and rattle away. You went up some steps and into the cinema. They were always breaking down, and this old chap, Ticker Beach, used to go and put it all right again. There were some American soldiers there during the war, and my sister had a very tall young man, and she used to make him walk in the gutter whilst she walked on the pavement. So she said he didn't look so big. Many people didn't have watches. Time was set by the mill hooter at Chamberlain's until the war stopped it, or the Nailsworth clock at the church.
Two ways of seeing: bright confidence or a half-smiled reticence, a straight sense of purpose with list in hand, ticking things off, get it all done. Or a slower way, more diffident, head to one side, a questioning look. Are we doing all we can? A clear, refreshing path, a laugh here, a handshake there, positive knowing, doing the right thing. Or doubt built in, part of the deal. A way of recognizing the spaces between, with time for reflection. We're all here, in our different shoes, taking the day as we find it, as it finds us. My garden of flowers is also my garden of thoughts and dreams. The thoughts grow as freely as the flowers, and the dreams are as beautiful. This, in elegant italics in a cracked white frame, leant against a mauve and purple child's first bike, propped against the street lamp outside the shop. Through the front window, an unadorned polystyrene head, a pair of bright orange sandals saying "Simply Be" on the heels, a carved wooden plate showing palm trees and a camel, and a tiny brass slipper with a groove for a cigarette. In the doorway, little baskets with a sign, 30p each dog towels. On a shelf, an orange and white onyx duck with its face against a silver pot surround with gold bubbles and star holes. Another polystyrene head, this time complete with lipstick, dark glasses and a wavy straw hat. A cat-faced cup with ears and feet. And next to a staring pig on a pile of saucers is this, in a tiny silver frame. Like a mum to me, you are such a special person. I am so lucky to have you in my life, always there to help and carry through any trouble and strife. I don't know what I would have done without you. Next along, a carved girl sits thoughtfully, one hand under her chin, with a basket of shiny apples by her side. Books along one wall with lampshades on the shelves above, treasure troves of wobbly men and knitted foxes down the far end, every size of men's shorts and trousers to squeak along the rails. The layers of human life. Come in with all your own perplexities and perspectives. Pick up the knickknacks with all their muted stories, and connect with those directly housed and heartened by this place.
Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, no, he hasn't. The carnival was a really big job. That was the biggest thing for Nailsworth for the year, you know. Everyone in Nailsworth went. You could see everyone there. And funnily enough, everyone in Nailsworth was local, born and bred. One time, a circus came, and we have a photograph of an elephant in a goods train. Transport's a mess, absolutely. I mean, they've got to do something about it, haven't they? 2 and 3 cars in one family. It's getting ridiculous. What are they going to do? They've got to limit it somehow, haven't they? And say you'll only be able to have 1 per family. They're bound to do something about it. The locals don't have any idea how to tackle the roundabout. You either get 4 people sat staring at each other, or all of them want to go at once. We'll be in worse trouble than ever. Nailsworth will become a disaster area.
What is all this? The hub, the radiating roads, the wide shop entrances, sofas, autobiographies, close cut above the ears, please, and guide price houses stacked and all displayed for negotiation. And the privacy of the quiet doors, eyes down in between. The clip-clop of a one-off horse strikes through the once daily meat wagon pulling into Market Street, where now I only need 5 minutes, so hard to park. Yes, what is all this? Before the pepper pot tower, the oast houses, the clattering mills, all the entangled odours of yeast and hops and horse, the constant hand to hand. We can only imagine, but what we know is that long before these stones were ever worked, this fan of valleys was well here, each with streams and rivers in conversation, in confluence, living water, acknowledging each gradient. And as you go from street to street, glance beyond the parapets and see this self-same running life consistently here since prehistory, long before any human mark or presence, purposefully flowing.
way of living. I think we had the best years. I do. It was hard. I mean, there was nothing cushy about it at all. But I think we had the best years. The children, I mean, they didn't want amusing. They used to make their own fun. I mean, you could let them go off. They used to go off across the fields up in the woods, and we never worried about them. We knew they'd come back when they was hungry. And you could go off out and leave your door unlocked. Nobody never worried. We knew nobody would touch anything. Well, the contact with the police was part of life. They knew everyone. There wasn't much trouble or discipline problems. People do as much to help each other now as they did in the past. You only have to ask. The community is now very mixed, but that's good because it's progression.
Weather and water have shaped these valleys over millennia, the water running freely, finding its own course. And then in these last centuries, people have contained and culverted the flow, so that now it's as though the water is a timeline running through the town. And the living water plays with its reflection of Ruskin Mill, and to one side a quickening, a leaf or two drawn in to where a smooth curve is established, and soon the buckets would fill, turning power to be harnessed inside. Sweeping off, the ongoing stream concealed in undergrowth, bridged by the main road, and curling on towards Gig Mill and the secret lake, where children swam in the 1950s, ricocheting voices. Then a peep of stream below Lock's Mill, and the hidden place, where Miry Brook comes in from the Newmarket Valley. We pause to remember the 4th of August, 1931, a thunderstorm in the morning, and then at 6 that evening, cloudbursts over the surrounding hills caused water to cascade down the valleys, followed by a massive storm until the small hours. The resulting flash flood destroyed the pond sluice gates at Nodes Mill, sending the whole weight of the mill race pounding into the town, causing deep floods and much damage.
I was 14 then. I walked back through Nailsworth with the water up to my knees. It went straight through Nailsworth, lifted all cars floating round, so I actually seen all that firsthand. But I've heard some weird stories about it, you know, bodies floating around and all, but there was no bodies.
Water is alive, with all its unforeseen moods and tempers. We do well to respect it. The evidence shows that the sea will rise, salt water flowing upstream, making creeks and fjords of our deep combes.
It was dreadful. Everything was floating. It was more than 3 parts the way up our stairs. We were all upstairs. There was a double-decker bus stopped outside, and we were talking to the people out of the bedroom window on the top deck because they were all upstairs. Our house, the 2 bedrooms, was full of people. From Gloucester there was a young couple on a motorbike. I remember that. Several people had left their cars, and we had to take them in, as many as we could. And that wasn't a lot because it was only a small house. The water, you would never credit what it was like. Everything was floating. I remember seeing the shoes all floating about in the water. It was terrible.
The innocent stream chatters on and comes now to Cossack Square, where prisoners constructed a dark, unseen culvert. Or did they? No evidence suggests that Cossacks were ever here. How often does a good yarn take over from the fabric of truth? What we do know for certain is that the water flows on. If we have mastery of flow, enhancing its strength, do we then banish it out of sight, out of mind when it suits? We find it again, momentarily, at the back of the car park by the vets. A glimpse of its progress, only to hide again behind the off-licence and the takeaway. Until at last, yes, its full glory as it cruises past Mortimer Gardens, its stern straight lines alleviated by the Monet footbridge down the far end. Behind the high wall, the bus pulls in, and Nailsworth's children disperse purposefully homeward, while a man on a bench sits heron still. Before all of this, the huge mill pond behind Day's Mill stretched across the bus station and the toilets. Nailsworth was quite a different town. And now, near the buses, the water drives the wheel that drives the belts that drive the looms. Such noise and hazards for the girls as shuttles fly. Keep your fingers clear and feel the flow of fine cloth.
After the war, First World War, then of course unemployment set in, like it is everywhere now roundabout. I got redirected to Nailsworth into doing silk work in Mr. Davis' little factory down there, and that was very interesting as well. I did silk winding, China and Japan silk. I did that for a little while, and my mother was taken ill and I had to leave. That was the end of my working days like that. I passed to go to the high school at Stroud, but I couldn't go because my mum couldn't afford the uniform, so I couldn't go. I stayed on at school till I was 14, then I went to work.
As the stream first sees daylight beyond the mill, we are here. Last fish shop before the motorway, says the blackboard one day. And we dive headlong into the arena.
Going along the railway cycle track, we see what used to be C.W. Jones Building, now altered. King's Flour Mill, now Egypt Mill.
So the Nailsworth stream flows on beyond Egypt Mill.
We have joy in the peace and quiet, walking along the track, listening and looking for birds, squirrels, field mice. The first violets, primroses or bluebells. Maybe a rabbit or badger.
How will this place be for our grandchildren's grandchildren? It would be wrong to encapsulate this town, for it lives from now to now, from incident into memory, from every striving, every face and gesture, every age and era, every preoccupation, every roof and gutter, every stream and trickle, glinting in the culverts, every heron passing overhead, each step and conversation in the street drawn across its confluence of valleys, its steep treescapes, its outlooks and intelligences, its familiar looks and hesitations, its gazes,